Marcus, thanks for joining me today to share a little bit of the band's history as you embark on your 50th anniversary conducting the band. How would you say the band has changed over the last 50 years under your baton?
Nice being with you too. Concerts. We are performing all of the concerts now in the summer in the gazebo in Uptown Medina. And that changed about 1975 when we moved from the bandstand. Those concerts still go at 8:30 and through the month of June and July. Indoor concerts, we have added two patriotic concerts, the first being a 9/11 concert that we partner with Brunswick St. Ambrose Church and their adult choir. The Veterans Day concert, we partner with a number of people, including the City of Medina and the Veterans Association. That is held at St. Francis Xavier Church in Medina. And for the first time, we'll be adding their adult choir as well. We have moved our rehearsals to the Western Reserve Masonic community in their community room. And that's new. That's probably because of proximity to the members for ease of getting there. It's also probably because the schools have been very reluctant to let outside groups in because of the pandemic. So that marks a new direction for us. And we will be giving two concerts for Western Reserve Masonic community, and they will give us free use of their facility. St. Ambrose in Brunswick will be our secondary site, and we will be trying to do some concerts with them as well. Membership has changed also. We're finding that for the first time, we're having difficulties personing double reeds, horns, and percussion sections. And I view that as an outgrowth of more community bands in our area. Also the pandemic. Pandemic hit us really hard. It presented a number of challenges. With concerts during, I think, 2019 and 20, we were forced to go virtual and had some full band performances that we played and mostly woodwind ensembles during that particular point in time. The governing board changed from the Kiwanis Club of Medina and the City of Medina, which go back to about 1950 or 60, to a fully run governing board by members of the band, which is exciting. And I think they're learning to be leaders and to take control of this aspect of our operation. And I'm learning to work with them in a different venue than just band members. Repertoire has expanded. We're doing more world music. We're doing more music of women composers, different ethnic races. We're finding that arrangements that are within our grasp and well written are coming from Europe now, rather than Europe and the Netherlands, rather than just the United States. So these things, I really don't think the viewers, our fans, concert goers are going to recognize, but they certainly have had an impact on what we're doing. The last, I think, is the use of assistant conductors. I'm 72, and I have ulcerative colitis, which presents some health problems. And the board and I felt that it was important that we look to the future. We added assistant conductors for two reasons. First of all, for planning for when I will retire from the band or the conducting and maybe play in the band, or that I just can't make a rehearsal for another reason. And I think this is working out well. So this might be my successor. The plans would be that I would become emeritus conductor at some point in time, and then the band would be conducted primarily by a new person who has not yet been identified. So I think that's kind of where we're at.
You mentioned that the music styles have changed over the years from the United States to, say, Germany and the Netherlands. Can you expand on why that change happened with the band?
I think the primary reason is because these European and Netherlands publishing houses are providing such a high quality level of music. Not that American publishers don't, but the majority of American music is published for school bands. These foreign publications are published for community bands and professional bands in the Netherlands and Europe. We found them to be accessible, well written, and enjoyable for the band to play and the audience to listen to. Often we are unable to find what I would call a band station or music that is transcribed from orchestra to band. And these houses do provide that. They're very cooperative. They provide us with quick service. The band enjoys playing them, and I enjoy conducting them. That would probably be the biggest change that we've had.
Can you elaborate on how maybe the band has stayed the same over the last 50 years?
There are a number of ways that the band remains the same. The first is the desire to play a musical instrument in a band setting. Most of these people played band instruments while they were in high school. They were in performing groups. When they went away to college, they continued playing. And then they had their families or their occupation that took most of their time away. And as they grew a little older, they wanted some kind of entertainment that they could use these skills. And we're seeing that a lot more. People want to come back. They want to play. The pandemic specifically changed the attitude of the band. They're more focused. They're more intent. It's almost as if they appreciated band more after the pandemic than before. I think that that's common to most of the community bands in the area.
So over the last 50 years, what have been some milestones for the band, some key historic moments that you have witnessed?
The performance at Severn Music Center in Cleveland must remain as the most outstanding example of the change in the band, the quality of the band. In fact, we performed there twice, in 2002, I believe, in 2004. When you think of the ensembles and the people that have played on that stage, and then to be there is just a thrilling example of what it can be.
Great, thanks for sharing that. Would you be able to then elaborate a little bit more? I believe you guys attended a special association performance as well.
The Ohio Music Education Association, OMEA, invited us to perform for their professional conference. And I think that was in 2014 or 15. I'd have to go back and check. But the only bands that are invited are the top bands in the state. It's a blind audition, and you perform at the winter spring professional conference. That was a rush. It was an exciting performance, well attended. The members loved it. Whether we'll do it again, I don't know. You kind of have a feeling when you start the season, if the band is going to rise to that level, which is way beyond where we normally are. So we'll see, but that's probably the second high point in the last 50 years. Finally, we were awarded the Sudler's Scroll by the Sousa Foundation as a historic band in the United States, which we're very proud of.
We can't help but talk about how the pandemic affected the band, whether that be through more intent and more appreciation at practice. How would you say technology, how you guys had to leverage that during the pandemic to do virtual concerts and record and keep that connection?
Most of the community bands and community orchestras in the United States struggled with dealing with the pandemic. Our age group is older than most. We sought to find some way of continuing to perform, whether it was social distancing or virtual. We tried both. Social distancing would be 8 feet apart, front to rear, and using masks when not playing. That presented some challenges as for the amount of space we needed. We also worked with virtual recording of ensembles, and I thought that was unique, and it was expanding what we had done before. To play in a small ensemble demands more attention to listening, balancing, blend, and I think this helped the overall band. using Zoom for meetings happened during the pandemic, and I think now it's part of our repertoire. Whether or not we'll be using um, more virtual concerts, I don't know. We have the technology and the desire, but I think people just want to play together right now.
So, over the past 50 years, you've obviously been around for a lot. How has the band as a group, as individuals, come to be friends and really support each other over the years?
Well, band has always been like a family. No matter what band you're in, the proximity of members to each other uh, demands that. I think that because of the pandemic, people took a greater interest in the health of the members of the band. We were concerned. As we age, um, aging affects us differently. Some of our members had to remove themselves with bands simply because they weren't able to play at the level they expected. We found there were more illnesses, more individual traumas that are going on, and the bands seem to just pull together um, and try to help each other out more. And I noticed that more just prior to the pandemic and onward. We try to take care of each other. There is that warmth. As a conductor, um, that can be challenging. When I'm on the podium, I need to remove myself from friendship and be a leader, be a conductor. Um, to make that a little more palatable, I try to call on people by instrument rather than name so that we don't misconstrue what I'm asking for as the personal affront. The band feels there's a warmth that exists from the podium through the band, and we try to continue that. Um, these are my friends. A lot of my hang around with, or we talk on a regular basis. A number of the people we play small ensembles together, and I think that's probably true in many of the other sections. Um, these are people that we've known for most of our adult life. Within the band, we have probably 10 or 15% who have 30 to 40 years experience in this band, which says we must be doing something right. Um, they enjoy being here and I enjoy being with them.
All right. So earlier we were discussing the changes and the succession planning of the band, and you mentioned assistant directors. When you look forward, what do you wish for the band? What do you hope the future looks like for them?
Right. I hope that we'll continue to play. Uh, when a long lived conductor leaves the band, there's always trauma. Um, to lessen that trauma, we made the decision to bring in people within our band who have conducting background, or band directors, and afford them the opportunity to assist as assistant or associate conductors. We have three now: John Connors, Matthew Hastings, and Amy Mule, who can step forward at any time and help me if I'm just too tired or if my medical condition presents some problems. But it's also good for the band. And at some point, I will step aside and be emeritus conductor, and a new conductor will take the primary reins of the group. We're hoping that we will have somebody that has been with us as an associate or assistant conductor to make that transition easier and smoother. I think that's the goal. What I would say would be my goal is I don't want to have the audience or the band feel that any change has been made. That just I'm conducting less and another person is conducting more. The goals remain the same. The objectives will remain the same, and the philosophy will main, uh, maintain itself. I think that if I had any goal is when I step aside, that the band continues. The band played on.